Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to People Talk Now. I'm your host, Vanessa Herrera, and this is the podcast where you ask about it, and I talk about it. And let's not forget, guys, this right here is the podcast where we are trying to change the pace on what people out there actually call better days. You already know. So welcome back. Happy fucking Wednesday to you. As always, man, glad to be here. Glad to have you guys listening. And yeah, let's get this morning started. Let's chime this little jam here. If you're wondering what this song is, this is Creative Juices. You can find it on my SoundCloud. I'll link you to it if you like it. You know. So yeah, we're going to get this morning started. And today, I thought I would talk about on ways that you can kind of ease yourself back into the gym. Just kind of get right back to your health and your fitness grind if you've been out for a while. And I know it's hard, trust me. I've been there. I haven't always been this way where, it's been easy for me. It's, I had times where maybe my schedule was a little bit hectic, but I think at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, are we making excuses? Or is this something that we really, really want to do to better ourselves, mentally and physically? Everything goes hand in hand. And, I can go through a couple steps based on experience on things that I have done to kind of get me back into it. And then after we're done talking about that, then I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys on a couple ways that you can be plant-based on a budget. Vegan, plant-based, I know some people hate the word vegan because it's been made to be such a trendy, annoying word, but trust me, it's all for a good cause at the end of the day. So let's get right into it, you guys. First off, when you first go to the gym, you don't want to overdo it right away. I've made that mistake tons of times where I went in and I felt like I had to make up for 10 years of not going. Okay, I'm exaggerating here, but say you don't go for a good couple months, or I don't really know how long some of you have been out of the gym. But I know that there's been times where I, maybe couldn't go for a good 3 weeks, maybe because of school, or maybe I was busy. Life happens, I get it. I'm a family person, I have ambitions of my own, so I get it. Like there's things sometimes that slow us down from getting your gym grind on. But again, it's not all about like going in there and lifting every single weight in the gym. Let's be realistic, So one of the mistakes I've made is that I do too much, and I don't think, that you should do too much when you go back, because, a day or two afterwards, what happens to our bodies is that our body goes into shock. And, if you wake up 2 days after the fact or the day after the fact and you're extremely sore, your muscles, you broke muscle fibers, and, your body's just like, what the hell, man? What'd you do to me? What did I do to deserve this? It's kind of like trying to make up for all the time you've lost. So that's definitely, a way to avoid that is to basically kind of just, do little increments at a time. And I very, very recently posted about this on my Instagram. You know, you definitely have to start slow. So I would say start off with 10 minutes a day. You know, I get it, you know. There's this like thing that I don't know why some people think that you have to go if you go to the gym, like you have to spend hours there or 30 minutes. Honestly, you don't. You can go in there for 10, 15 minutes, run on the treadmill, do something very light to kind of just start getting yourself back into it. Little tiny little increments like that every day or afternoon or night, whenever you decide is a good time for your schedule, just kind of just start going in little by little. Get your body back into that frequency and build a longer duration for your body to last a little bit longer so that you're not overwhelming yourself mentally, because that can kind of make you feel a little bit defeated, you know, like if you just go and you do it all at once and then 2 days later you're like so sore to the point where you're like, shit, what have I done? Or like, ugh, I don't want to come back to this place. What the hell was I thinking? So definitely start off slow, reintroduce your body to activity and just kind of, you know, after a week or two, bump it up a little bit, you know? As long as you're not losing form, especially if you get that opportunity to kind of start from the beginning again, I would say like focus on your form. You're going to thank me later on down the line for this. It's much more important to have proper form than to be lifting cars and whatnot. Okay, maybe it's a little much, but you get what I mean. Like, you don't need to lift an insane amount of weight at first. Just start off slow and definitely focus on your form, because that essentially is going to build the finer muscles in your body and build true strength first before you start lifting an insane amount of weight or heavier weights. And again, another thing that you can do is just when you first begin, just a quick little reminder, man. Do what works for you. Stop believing that you need to do this insane amount of gym sessions to make up for what the time that you haven't been there. So I would say kind of start off with what works for you. Make yourself a little log. Start logging in what you've done. Even if it's just 3-4 days out of the week, just as long as you get one day in, that's really good. And like, you know, just kind of see how your body responds to that. Like, really listen to your body, man. Don't overdo it. Don't just listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you exactly what you need. And that's kind of the mistake that I used to make a lot when I first started going to the gym. I was just like, oh, I was so excited about it. I just thought like it just goes so hard right away that you're just going to see results right away. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. So just keep a regular pattern, write it down, start writing. I know you're just like, what the fuck? I got to be carrying a diary to the gym. No, I get it. But trust me, these are mistakes that I've made that I'm trying to tell you that are very helpful, and they are going to really help you start seeing some improvements in your body. If you're really serious about it and you really want to just kind of slowly start getting back in, the best way is to just start logging it in little by little so that way you can see week after week, all right, I'm getting stronger in this area. I'm getting stronger here. Okay, this is where I could use improvement. Okay, this and that. So just trust me on that. Okay, another thing, make sure that when you're working out that, you know, you have a few different types of components in your workouts. So one of them, I think, would be very beneficial. You always got to start with endurance training. What I mean by that is just always make sure that you get some type of cardio in. The reason why the cardio is essential is because the cardio is what's going to actually kind of get, everything inside of you just kind of going, get your heart pumping, your heart rate. It's going to open up those adrenal glands. Another thing that's important, which I kind of lost for a little while was that I kind of stopped doing resistance training, and I missed that, which is, it's definitely essential, I believe. And, you can start doing things with like bands, there's many things that you can do to kind of get, the different parts of your body engaged. Another thing is flexibility. A lot of people that tend to lift weights at the gym, for some reason, they forget about stretching and, yoga. Hell, even meditating is beneficial. So I would definitely say just make sure that you stretch really good before or really good after. I know some people like stretching afterwards, but if you can, especially if you're getting back into the gym, just make sure that you stretch. Stretching is so important. It's so important because if you're about to, start engaging your muscles, you definitely want to make sure that that you are stretching properly and that, they're getting the oxygen that they need. So yeah, by, definitely kind of trying out 3 of the different types of exercises to kind of get back into, you always want to make sure that you kind of combine them through the week so that you can start being able to like go longer in your workouts. And just always remember, I know I already said this, but I have to repeat, please go at your own pace. Don't hurt yourself. Don't trust me. It takes years. These people that you see on these Instagram pages and all these things, trust me when I say that unless you're ready to go fully clean eating, and I mean immaculate clean eating, that you are not going to see those type of results that you see these people having unless you have a super clean diet. You can try to get it all done in 1 month, but I'm telling you, it's irrelevant. Like it takes years for you to sculpt your body. It's some of these people that have been going to the gym, it takes them years. It's taken me years to just build muscle in the way that I wanted, and I still have many, many years to go. Also, another key thing when, you're trying to kind of weasel your way back into the gym is just to make sure that you don't forget to rest. Rest is super important because if you're going back in, and I don't really know how many days a week some of you guys plan on going back to the gym, but just make sure that you take a day off. Because if you're working super hard to build your muscle, what the hell is going on? To build your muscle, you want to make sure that you have plenty of time for your muscles to kind of replenish themselves and to break down and just re-heal themselves and do what they need to do to actually grow. So definitely just kind of be realistic, don't go a whole week without giving your body the proper rest that it needs. It's so important, you guys. There was times where I was in the past where I was just working out nonstop, really wasn't getting any rest days in, and trust me when I say my body paid the price for it. So that totally sucked. And again, another good thing to kind of make sure that you keep in mind is that when you're about to start your workout, you guys, get a good warm-up. Get a good warm-up. What do I mean by that? You can do little warm-up preps. Definitely you need to make sure that when you're doing a warm-up, your heart rate goes up. And then the cool down is just kind of making sure that your heart goes back to a resting rate, And muscles that have not been accustomed to like intense activity for some time will experience some sort of delayed onset muscle soreness. And that's kind of something that I would suffer from a lot when I was like deadlifting and doing more weights. So that was like tough because it would take me like 2-3 days afterwards and I'd be like, what the fuck? And like trying to get out of bed and then bam, hits me. I'm like, shit, what is this? So definitely keep that in mind. I would be so tight and achy for a while. Like it would take me a while to basically like get over the soreness. So that's what I'm saying. When you have a proper cool down session, and you're probably like, what is a proper cool down session? Well, it's kind of like when you definitely like you're just kind of letting your muscles relax. You know, you're just kind of not doing so much of a strenuous activity and just kind of let them just relax on their own. And what that does is that it kind of reduces some of the soreness. Now, you know, even now when I go to the gym, I definitely experience some kind of soreness, but it's not like it was before. It's nowhere near like it was before. And I know what you guys are probably thinking. Does that mean that I'm still growing muscle? Yes, of course, but I'm taking care of my muscles in a much better way than I used to before. I'm being more considerate with my body. I'm not like, you know, you can't ask your body so much and then kind of not give your body what it needs in return. So just always make sure that you know, if you're feeling some sort of tightness due to lifting, it's super important that your stretching becomes a very normal part of your, you know, getting back into your fitness routine, because you know, a good warm up, it always includes stretches. And you know, most of the time now, I used to not do this, but now when I'm done, I'll go and sit down on the mat and definitely do a good stretch just to make sure, you know, that you know, I'm letting that proper oxygen back into my muscles. And like I said, I know I keep repeating this, but when you're getting back into fitness, slow the fuck down. All right? Be very self-conscious of your movements and take the time. This is what I wasn't doing before. When I would go in, I was just like going all crazy, like I was going super nuts and not really like taking the time to like breathe and make sure that I had the proper form and that I was controlling my breathing. And this now, I mean, obviously years down the line, you know, after going to the gym for so many years, I'm like, oh my God, it's super important that we're, you know, breathing and we're using proper technique, because what do you always want to avoid? You want to avoid injuries. You don't want to go back home. You know, there was times where I would come home and this was a few years back and I had a hernia, and you know, I wasn't like figuring out like I'm coming home and I'm just feeling like crap, and yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on with me? You know, and it wasn't until, you know, I figured out that I had a hernia, and it was, you know, again, I can't remember if it was like already there before, but definitely like not having proper form, lifting up improperly is definitely a way that I think aggravated it and made it worse. And of course, you know, I've had surgery and I'm all better now, thankfully. But it definitely gives you better insight to definitely work on your form and make sure that, you know, you're avoiding injury, because, you know, that's not the way that you want to ease yourself back into the gym, by hurting yourself before you even get started. So, and I know that I keep repeating this, but just don't forget, listen to your body. Okay. Chances are your body's going to let you know, that it's working, or the, you know, it's working hard, or learn the difference kind of between like what hurts so good and hurts not so good, if you know what I mean. So if something feels weird or it gives you pain, stop doing whatever that is. Just stop. Like, don't continue doing it. There's actually a not so kind of fine line between muscle discomfort and a good workout. If you feel pain, that's your body letting you know, hey, something's not right. Stop right away, you guys. Definitely biggest mistake I've made, and I think I still make this mistake. Don't skimp on your sleep, man. Working out is like work. And that's the way I wasn't thinking about it before. You know, working out is work. You're trying to do something to your body. Like, you know, you're trying to create this healthy version of yourself that wasn't there before. And it's all discipline, but at the same time, you're working on yourself. So it takes more time and energy. So you might feel fatigued at the beginning, but you're burning more calories, and your body kind of begins to try to adapt and to increase, to the increased stress that you're putting on your tissues. So if you find yourself exhausted and walking around like one of the zombies from The Walking Dead, you might want to get more sleep. On a particular day, it doesn't matter, whatever day it is that, if you're going to go to the gym or the day before, just try to get some sleep. And I'm guarantee you your body's going to be like, thank you. Another thing when you're trying to get back into the gym, find a friend who keeps you motivated. We all have friends that keep us motivated. Some of us don't. Some of us look to online motivation, such as this. I don't know, not dropping any hints or anything. But yeah, find a friend who keeps you motivated, because it's important. Not everybody has that fire. So, if you have to go online and find people, that's okay. If you have to read a book or magazine that has inspiring models or fitness gurus, whatever motivates you, whatever does the trick, then do it. That's all I'm saying. But definitely finding a friend who already has a workout routine, that's a key motivator for you. That's a good start. Also find a friend who's also looking to get back into a regular routine. That's always helpful. And you guys can keep each other accountable and motivated. That's a good way to kind of slowly ease your way back in there. And finally, just don't forget, set goals for yourself and keep focused. What is your goal? Ask yourself, be realistic. If it's time sensitive, whatever it is, just remember that if you have a vision for it, you can get it. You can just as well do it. I remember when I first started, I was just like, shit, what's my goal? I wanted to be more toned. I wanted to see muscle definition, and I didn't know shit. Like I didn't know anything. Like I was embarrassed to actually lift anything at the gym. I felt like every machine I was touching, it was like my first time. It was my first time. So I felt like a big dork in the gym. Basically, I was like, shit, what do I do? Shit, what do I do? But luckily for me, I had my husband there. I had friends who I knew that were working out. I had the internet. I had YouTube. Shit, I had a lot of outlets, and so do you guys. You guys have me. You guys have friends. You guys have family. You guys have the internet. You guys have YouTube. I mean, shit. You can just about find fitness in anywhere today. In this time and era, it's 2019. We're living in the era of the internet, and a lot of things are accessible to us, and we are constantly expanding. So yeah, whether your goal is to run a 5K, a 10K, or just feel stronger, start with a plan. That's the advice. Start with the plan, you guys, and execute it. Okay, so now that we've talked about how to get you back into the gym slowly, I'm going to just give you a couple quick little tips because, I get a lot of you that message me on Instagram and you guys are like, Vanessa, so it's so expensive being vegan. What do I do? I can't afford it. Well, I think one of the reasons some people think that is because, I get it. When you're first trying to ease your way into veganism, you might start off with becoming vegetarian first, which is the outlet that most people take. And then from there, you kind of just slowly start weaning off the dairy. because that's the one thing that people find a little bit more difficult to kind of stray away from at first. And it's understandable. But I think when you're trying to budget, yeah, a couple things that you can do is prepare your own meals. Okay, I know it's like, holy shit, Vanessa, you just hit me with that one. No, I don't know what else I can say to you other from experience. If you really are trying to save money, or you're just like, holy shit, I want to try out veganism, but it's just too expensive for me. Again, it's not. A lot of people think when you first go vegan that you have to buy a lot of processed foods. And I really started like doing my research, and I was just like, holy shit, like, not to knock anything against my other fellow vegans, but it's just like, shit, man, this processed vegan food that's in these grocery stores, it's fucking expensive. And when you really get down to it, it's just like the reason why they created these things is so that it's easier for people who used to eat meat to kind of sort of transition into veganism. And then, and so some of these things are like super high on sodium. And then you don't want to get used to that, because essentially too much sodium in the body isn't good either, because, then it causes dehydration. So you don't want that. So prepare your own meals. Don't eat out all the time. Restaurants and diner meals, they're so much more expensive compared to like self-made, meals at home. And most of the time when you go out to restaurants, you're paying for the service. So eating out should only be kind of an occasional thing, It should be avoided altogether if you're on a budget. If you're like one of those people that are always on the move, such as myself, with having kids, it's like, try to prepare your meals and snacks in advance and take them with you in a little box or a bag or shit. I don't know, whatever you throw your food in. This way that you can have that control on what goes into your meals, and you're just not so dependent all the time on eating out at restaurants. Because you don't really know, man. Some of these restaurants, they be having some shady ingredients in there. I'm not gonna say anything, but they be having some pretty shady little ingredients. And when you prepare your own meals, consider cooking large batches and just freeze leftovers in some like meal-sized containers. That way, you're like, shit, let me take it out of the freezer. Boom. If you're not a microwave person, pop it in the oven. So yeah, that's one helpful little thing that you could do. Embrace your whole foods, man. Plant foods are just loaded with all the nutrients that your body actually needs. So you should, be the base of your diet. Your body needs you, man. And you need your body. So take care of it. The great thing about these unprocessed and pure foods is that they are also the cheapest ones out there, especially the starchy foods. But just make sure that you base your recipes around these low price, kind of healthy and nutrient dense goodies. Like if you're definitely trying to budget. So I think, in my opinion, I'm going to share with you some foods that, where you're getting kind of like everything that you need, but it kind of you're staying within the budget. I would say if you need your starches, go with brown rice, potatoes, pumpkin if you're a pumpkin lover, oats, whole grain pasta. When it comes to vegetables, get your carrots, broccolis, your cabbage, your beets, all sorts of anything that's leafy green, such as kale, spinach, frozen vegetables is fine too. They have a longer shelf life, and you can just kind of take them out and, boil them, saute them, however you like. Fruits, you get your bananas, apples, pears, plums, oranges, other fruit depending on the season, honestly. Legumes. Almost all beans and lentils, you can save extra if you buy them dry and soak or cook them yourself instead of going to like for those pre-cooked versions. That way you can get much bigger amounts for your money too. So cut out all the sodium that's usually found in canned foods. Really avoid at all cost, in my opinion, in buying canned foods, like especially with uh any type of beans, because they're usually pretty high in sodium. And if you have to, then I would suggest rinsing them out. Usually what I do is if, for whatever reason I'm pressed for time and I want to have a salad and I kind of want to throw some beans in it, I definitely would suggest rinsing it out first. That's always helpful. So rinse them out with some water, run them through some water, drain them, and then throw them on top of your salad if you must. As far as nuts go, I would go with peanuts or any almonds, walnuts. Try to buy them in bulks so that way, you're not buying like prepackaged stuff. Most of the time, this stuff is, like I said, is full of sodium. These corporations, you guys, they're fucking pumping us with sodium. Pay attention to your sodium intake. This is why people in our society, young people, are ending up with high blood pressure already. Come on, you guys, you got to pay attention. I know some of you out there, we're all different age categories, but you guys, this is why our parents, when we were growing up, they were checking labels. Some of our parents, just check labels. Do something different this generation. Read your goddamn labels. Actually see what's being fed to you. Look at what you're eating, I would say buy in bulk. When you buy in bulk, you're also saving money. Again, it depends too. Like if you buy a big, sometimes every now and then what I like to do is buy like a really big bag of broccoli, frozen broccoli, because, if I buy it fresh, it'll only last me refrigerator lifespan about 2 to 3 days because of the moisture. So I definitely would say do things like that. And if you have a grocery store that has like a bulk session, can't even talk. If you have a grocery store that has a bulk section, maybe there's even an entire bulk food store nearby. These kind of places kind of let you load up on items such as like oats, rice, pasta, nuts, seeds, for a very good price. And since you're not kind of buying for packaging or brand name, that's kind of one of the reasons why I mentioned that, because it kind of helps you save money, especially if you're trying to be a vegan and on a budget. Also, just kind of prepare simple little recipes that help you out. Let's see. What are things that I do? Well, first of all, always make sure that you're not stuffing if you create something, like you're trying to prepare simple little recipes, just make sure that you're not stuffing them with so many recipes or too many ingredients. And then, that's going to be, you want to make things easier on your digestive tract. Please. Think of like baked potatoes made with homemade ketchup, roasted pumpkins with, banana ice cream. That sounds pretty good actually right now. And I mean, you guys, I'm always mentioning this, like the internet has so much to offer. We're in 2019, guys. Get with the program. It's almost 2020. It's almost 2020. You guys, let that sink in. You can go to the internet for so many recipes. One of the things that you can actually do if you're trying to kind of ease your way into eating on a budget, a vegan budget, plant-based budget, whatever you want to say. One of my favorite things used to be a few years back was to make overnight oats. Oh my God, those were my favorite. You can experiment with overnight oats so much. The blueberries, the peanut butter, the agave, strawberries. Oh, the possibilities are endless. Like look up vegan overnight oats online. You will find tons of recipes, you guys. You'll thank me for it. Who knows? Maybe maybe I might share a recipe or two on Instagram this morning. Who knows? But definitely, you guys, I hope everything that I've shared with you this fine, lovely Wednesday morning definitely kind of gives you an idea of some things that you can do if you're definitely trying to get back into the gym and trying to, slowly come back, and you have some goals. Set out a plan for yourself. Don't feel defeated. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that want to be fitter, healthier. And these are little things that you can do. Again, just make sure that if you're trying to sort of transition into being vegan, or if you're already vegan and you kind of just want to be on a budget, if you kind of recognize the fact that maybe you bought too many fruits or vegetables and they're about to go turn bad, just think about freezing them. What I like to do is freeze. If I see bananas are kind of going a little bit dark and nobody's eating them, I'll put them in the freezer, and then a day or two after, I'll make some super amazing smoothies with almond milk. And another thing you could do is like find really good deals in the produce aisle, stock up, freeze them as well. If you're finding like really good deals on like mushrooms, I love mushrooms. Freeze them, put them in the freezer. And then some things you can easily just make by yourself. Sometimes it requires a little bit of time, and everybody knows me here at my house for putting in time for certain dishes. But in the long run, the effort is going to prove itself to be amazing, especially when you can have savings, and the savings that are huge compared to like buying packaged versions of stuff when you could just do it yourself. And most of the time, if you buy like dry legumes or just beans or things like that, most of the time they're 5 times cheaper than buying canned foods. You can even prepare your own plant milk. One time I tried making 2 kinds of milks. I tried making an oat milk and an almond milk. You can make your own sauces. I love creating my own sauces and spreads. And again, go online if you want to learn how to make like almond milk, some kind of your own marinara sauce, vegan cheese sauce, anything, hummus. Hell, I've made my own hummus before. I'm super proud of making my own hummus. Just go online, look them up, look the recipes up, and always make sure that you buy in season. If you know that a particular fruit or vegetable is like more popular during the winter, like squash and figs, or watermelon and nectarines in the summer, just kind of keep that in mind. Try to buy it, because most of the time it'll be cheaper. So always, I always say, visit your local farmers market, you guys. They provide you with a huge amount of nutritious kind of produce. And not only that, you're supporting your local community as well. And most of the time it's also cheaper in some cases. So you always got to be able to like go out there and look. Don't be afraid, man. Come on, do your research. I'm always telling you guys, do your goddamn research. Find a farmer's market that's close to you, and going to the farmer's market a little bit before they close is a good way to make some bargains, because the sellers want to get rid of their produce pretty quickly at the end. So, maybe you can talk to them and you can strike a good deal. It's always, they may give you a discount so that you can buy in bulk. And buy smart, you guys. Opt for store brands whenever possible. Oftentimes you'd be surprised that they offer kind of the same quality, based on other brands that are always advertised. And always look at the bottom shelves for lower price items. The priciest ones are usually located at eye level, because they kind of want people to see them and they want them to buy it. So they're just like, put it right where you can see it, like, hey, look at me. If your store has like they have a loyalty program. Make sure you sign up, man. Get those savings. And always make sure that you're careful with like fresh fruits and vegetables. Excuse me. Fruits and vegetables that don't last very long. You definitely want your food to spoil. So only buy amounts you really know that you're going to eat. That's how you can start saving. Stop overbuying. Look out for coupons, check your newspapers, check your emails. There's always extra savings to be made. Create a shopping list so that way you know not to buy too much. Keep a goal. Just like your fitness goal, keep a shopping goal. And stock up, because your typical foods that you eat daily, they can turn bad quickly. So, just make sure you buy in bulk and stock up on them. And like I said, freeze them, put them away. And always make sure the last thing I'll say, no, there's always a couple more things that I can say, but just buy smart, you guys. Buy smart and, buy frozen fruits if you have to so you can make smoothies. That's always a good way to be on a vegan budget. You don't always have to eat, whole meals with rice and everything. You can also drink smoothies. Gives you all the nutrients that you need. Make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. Okay? Plenty of water. And if you have the opportunity, Jesus Christ, grow your own food. This is the biggest money saver out there. If you have the space to grow your own little vegetables somewhere, oh my God. I would say start with a few kind of spots of greens and work your way up from there. If you're like an ambitious person to kind of start growing your own food, oh my God, that'd be the most joyful thing ever. I would try that. And make a plan. Plan your meals and your snacks ahead and make shopping lists accordingly. This will prevent you from impulsively buying a bunch of crap that you don't need. You got to think smart. If you want to save and you want to just really save for whatever your certain goal is, just make a plan. And yeah. So in conclusion, I would say that there's always a lot of ways that we can cut down costs, but you got to be very tight on your budget no matter what. You got to sacrifice certain things sometimes for your health, and I would say that it's very much worth it. If you're trying to ease your way back into the gym, I would say make a plan, write it out. Also, if you're trying to be on a budget, make a plan, write it out. Don't buy into all this shit. And I am going to leave you guys, of course. I hope a lot of these things that I said today were helpful. I love talking about fitness, and I love talking about food, especially when it's good food. So, you guys know that I love to leave you guys with a word of the day and a joke of the day. So I came across a pretty funny one. There we go. Here it is. So the joke of the day is: a man was carrying 2 babies, one in each arm, while waiting for a train. A woman was walking past when she noticed the babies. "Aren't they cute?" she exclaimed. "What are their names?" The man gave her an impatient look and said, "I don't know." "Which is the boy and which is the girl?" she asked. The man again replied, "I don't know." "Well, how old are they?" she persisted. With an annoyed expression on his face, the man said, "I have no idea." Shocked and appalled, the woman began to scold him. "What kind of father are you?" she said. The man replied, "I'm not their father. I'm just a condom salesman, and these are the 2 complaints that I'm taking back to my company." Oh my goodness. Wow. What do we got to say about that one? Yep. So, as always, you guys know that I like to share a word of the day because I always want you guys to leave my podcast with having learned something. So today's Webster Dictionary word of the day is, let me see if I'm pronouncing this right. Spoonerism. So did you know, okay, first of all, before I get into the did you know that the definition of spoonerism is a transposition of usually initial sounds of two or more words, as in tons of soil for sons of toil. Let's give a little history, brief little history. Did you know that poor William Archibald Spooner, the British clergyman and educator who lived from 1844 to 1930, often had to speak in public, but he was a nervous man and his tongue frequently got tangled up. He would say things like a blushing crow when he meant a crushing blow. Spooner's sound reversals became the stuff of legend and undoubtedly gave his listeners many a laugh. By the end of the 19th century, his name had inspired the term Spoonerism, which lives on to this day. Wow, I did not know that. And I hope you guys did not know that either, but now you know if you didn't. And again, you guys, thank you so much for listening. It's been a real slice. If you guys have any questions or any requests on topics you guys would like me to talk about, or if you maybe would like to be a co-host, let me know. You can reach out to me at peopletalknow.com. You can submit your request through there, or you can reach out to me at peopletalknow@hotmail.com. And yeah, I would love to hear what you have to say. And again, you guys, have a kick-ass Wednesday. Bye-bye.